Dabo wants his own Paul Finebaum. Okay, he said the ACC. Why can't the ACC have their own Paul Finebaum? I'm going to talk about this because I think this is hilarious. Welcome to the show. It's a beautiful Tuesday, July the 23rd. We're getting closer and closer to opening kickoff of the Georgia Clemson game, August 31st, 12 o'clock in Atlanta. We'll be there before you know it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been watching for a while, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back for the insanity. If you hadn't subscribed, I hope you will subscribe. Why? It helps out the channel, just a dude here, and I have some time, in between. I looked at my work computer over here when I have some time to actually go live. I go live. So, I hope you'll support the channel if you like what I'm doing. Even if you hate what I'm doing, I still hope that you'll subscribe. It is free. So the Clemson Wire, who I don't know anyone over there, but this is just absolutely incredible. I don't know how true this story is, but yesterday, I think it was yesterday, the Clemson Wire dropped a story that around 2 years ago at the ACC meetings that Coach Swinney complained about the ACC network. Now, let's pause there. I'm not going to take a shot at all of these people who are on the ACC network, okay? I think that would be wrong. I don't think that would be okay. I think that would be mean. Just to put it in maybe an elementary way. But with that said, the ACC network lags far behind the SEC, and we know that. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, you turn over there, I've jokingly said it looks like the ACC network made a deal with the local PBS station and said, "Hey, listen, when you're done promoting some epic concert of Andrea Bocelli, and in between a replay of some obscure version of This Old House, could we use your studio and talk ACC sports? Can we do that?" And they cut them a sweet deal. That's what the ACC network looks like, in my opinion, and a lot of you know that. A lot of you know that. A lot of you probably feel that way. And there's some good people on there, but overall, it looks low budget. It looks like an afterthought. You understand why Florida State and Clemson wants to get out. I do. But Dabo Swinney supposedly said this. Why can't we have our own Finebaum show? Of course, there's no way to just create an ACC version of the Finebaum show in a lab after the former newspaper columnist organically grew it in Alabama for decades, building a devoted caller base of passionate SEC fans before moving to the SEC network. I think the only part that was quoted by him is, why can't we have a Finebaum show? Everything else was from the reporters from 24/7 Sports, okay? So I kind of misread that. I'm sorry there. And Dabo Swinney is right. You need someone who is not trying to be controversial. They are just naturally good at stirring the pot. They really are. And Paul Finebaum, love him or hate him, is really good at ticking off everyone. Now, do I consistently appreciate this? No. I don't enjoy watching someone just be critical just to be critical. I don't enjoy watching someone. It's like I never really liked American Idol. Like that, like back when it was really, really, popular and everybody liked it. I really didn't like Simon Cowell's the way that he did things. Well, it drove ratings. That's great that just being terrible to people drove ratings, and that people flocked to see someone being terrible to another human being. I've seen on Shark Tank before, these billionaires talk like trash to people, and it's like, People eat that up, and then we wonder why there's, such rage and disrespect. Okay, I criticize Coach Sweeney. We know that. If you watch this show, there's a lot of people who doesn't watch this show because I don't drink the Dabo juice. I appreciate Dabo. I appreciate what he's done, but I am not going to tell you that the emperor doesn't have, or that the emperor has clothes on when he doesn't. That is cult-like. That is not okay. That is not a devoted fan. That is a cult member. At the same time, I'm not just going to sit here and bash on Coach Sweeney. I'm going to talk about the things that I see is wrong. And when the experts do something that doesn't seem like an expert would do that, I'm going to call it out. I've used this example a lot recently. I've never been a chef. I've never been to a culinary school and been, trained in a culinary institute. But if you set a plate of food down in front of me and it's pleasing to the eyes and it looks great, but I taste the food and it tastes like pure garbage, guess what? It's pure garbage. I don't have to go to culinary school to realize that the food sitting in front of me is trash. So I get why Dabo Swinney made this comment, because the ACC needs someone who can connect with fans in various emotional settings and drive controversy enough to drive viewership and bring legitimacy to the conference. Because let's face it, the ACC is not legitimate. I know the proper word would be illegitimate, but I feel like I should be Maury Povich right now reading, the birth results. You are not the father. So that's why I said not legitimate, but that, and I didn't think of illegitimate to a point. But the point is, Dabo Swinney is right. If the ACC wants to be this driving force, they're going to need someone like him. They are going to need someone like a Paul Finebaum. And I am going, right now, at the 7-minute and 30-second mark, I am throwing my hat into the ring. I am applying online right now to be the next Paul Finebaum, but for the ACC. And if the ACC doesn't want me, I will be more than happy to take my talents to the Big 12. I am grumpy for hire. I will do this thing. I will be the sacrificial lamb to be what Coach Swinney has asked. But here's the thing. I am going to tell the truth. All I have to do is tell the truth. I don't have to be overly mean or a jerk. I don't have to make ruthless comments just for ratings. All I have to do is tell the truth about things. You want to see my audition tape for the ACC network right now? Let's go for it, folks. Live on my show. Let's name some teams right now. North Carolina. Here we go. Mac Brown, a guy who's won a national championship at Texas. The last time that UNC was relevant, he was running things. He wins a national championship at Texas. He takes some time off. He's a commentator. Now he's back at UNC. All right. They've had some really good moments here and there, but they are still not the UNC that he had in the late 90s, early 2000s. They're not. And the question that we have to ask ourselves, if we're being honest, is it time for him to chill out? Is it time for him to call it? Mac also looks extremely tired. Mac looks like a 70-plus-year-old man. And I'll tell you this, it's happened quick over the past couple of seasons. You've really seen it. Now, I'm not knocking Coach Brown, but I think it's getting to that time to where he's going to have to sit. It's time to either get some young blood in there to run things while he's kind of the face of the program, or maybe it's time for him to retire. There's that. Next, Let's talk about Miami. Someone just gave me Miami. Miami has some of the greatest players to ever play football come through their school into the NFL. Of course, Miami talks. If you talk to a Miami fan, they're always going to talk about the 0-1 team, and they should. Here's the problem: that's 23 years ago. 23 years ago. And they remind me a lot of the Clemson fans talking about 1981 when it was 2001. When it was 2005. Talking about Danny Ford, who hadn't even been there. The only way that you would see Danny Ford is if you drove through Pendleton, South Carolina, and stopped by a Mexican restaurant and saw Danny throwing back a few beers in there. And they recruit great. They do. I mean, they recruit great. Look where they're located. Miami is a shell of history. They can't pull it together. And you have to ask yourself why. You have to ask yourself why Miami, with all of that great recruiting and blah, 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 why the U is no longer the U. Next, let's talk about Florida State. Why does Florida State go after DJ? Why did they land him? He was at Clemson. He was at Oregon State. No offense to DJ, but I'm just saying Florida State seemed to be in an upward trajectory. And now Florida State fans believe in Mike Norvell so much, and I think some of them are in a state of denial. They believe in Mike Norvell so much, just like Clemson fans believe in Dabo so much, they believe that he can overcome anything, even if it's unrealistic. I'm not saying Florida State's going to be a bad team, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to be shocked if DJ does great at Florida State. And Rob Ellen says it here. Cam Ward, who ended up at Miami, that's who they wanted. That's who they wanted. You have to ask yourself, do these schools, some of these schools, like, and this is switching gears off of Florida State, we got to ask ourselves, do any of these schools have dignity when it comes to what's going on with the ACC? When Jim Phillips, the ACC commissioner, says over the past few days, I am basically going to fight and fight and fight and fight and fight and fight to protect the members of this conference, when in fact, it seems like the ACC is holding them hostage, not protecting them. Folks, there's my audition tape for the ACC network. There we go. There we go. I'll gladly do it. Let's see how much Paul Finebaum makes. Paul Finebaum salary. Says, this is old. This is from 2023. According to reports, it is alleged that the sportscaster earns roughly $5 million from ESPN. He just recently signed a 3-year contract extension with the network. Right? I have no clue. I have no clue. I mean, can you imagine that? So, folks, I am going to close this down. All right? I'm going to close this down, but if you want me to be on the ACC network, let them know. I'll do it. Hey, listen, I'll stir the pot and still have some dignity about me. I'll still be able to go to church and feel totally fine. I'll still be able, hey, listen to me. I'll just be me. I'll just talk about the entire league. Folks, y'all take care of yourself. I hope you'll, go ahead and do your thing. Real quick, let's see. Ocean View Coffee Shop. Ocean View, if you don't mind telling me roundabout where you're located, are you actually Ocean View Coffee Shop? Like actually a coffee shop with Ocean View? I want to know this. This is great. This would be awesome. Rob Ellen is in here. Let's see. Athens Tiger, who is a member, by the way. See that circle beside Athens Tiger's name? That means they're a member. You can be a member too. $3 or $5 per month. I just created 2 cheap tiers, and you can choose which one. So thank you, Athens Tiger, for supporting the channel. Finebaum is overpaid by $4,999,999. Absolutely hilarious. The ACC has been consistently holding back its most engaged members and making enemies of them a recipe for destruction. Doc Snicklefritz, which I love the name, that's true. That's true. The ACC has done a great job on showing everyone how not to make your members want to stay with you, unless they're old guard ACC fans, members with their odd allegiance. Double-edged sword, isn't SMU part of the ACC now? They actually are, which is odd. They're raising money like crazy. They're in that, Dallas area? It's going to be nuts. Nuts, nuts, nuts. Let me see. Going through here. Eric. Oh, my God. Dabo has another season at Clemson. This is coming from the man himself, Bobby Q. Durkins of the Pickens County Sword of Joshua Reformed Pentecostal Holy Word Independent Church of God. You're so ridiculous, man. Oh, my God. Oh, my Lord, it's crazy. Kerry Singleton, thank you for always being honest to tell the truth about what is going on with Clemson football, unlike others being paid to tell lies and give fans false hope. Kerry Singleton, thank you so much. I always say this. I wish a lot of the stuff I said was not true. I wish that I were lying so I could stop lying. But unfortunately, thank you for your appreciation. It means a lot to me. Finebaum is too much of a hater. He's probably still upset Kiffin dumped his skull. Yeah, pretty much. Thomas Mills, hey there, Brian, glad to be watching. Good to see you. And Tiger Red Devil says Dabo is kind of a petulant child. He is not well with criticism at all. Hey, listen, none of us are good with criticism. I don't like to be criticized. Most of you don't like to be criticized. But I am concerned. I am concerned about certain things I see out of the coach. I don't know what's going on in his life. I don't know what's going on in it. And that's why sometimes you see me just stop cold, because I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And I don't want to be one of those people who's dumping on someone when there's even more stuff that nobody knows, and it's really no one's business. It's just when we see some of the outburst, it gets concerning. And when we hear comments like, well, we took a bunch of transfers out of high school. That is not, one person told me recently, said, you need to let the experts do the job. And that's your opinion, and I appreciate you watching the show. But when experts are not acting like experts, it's time to call it. And so, an expert, by the way, what makes you an expert is that you realize that you can't do anything. There's a specific direction that points to success. There's specific strategy that has to be visited. I believe it was Dwight Eisenhower that said, I've learned in preparing for battle. Plans mean nothing and planning is everything. And that's a very confusing statement to some, but you have to be, you have to realize that to live by plans means you're set in stone. Planning is an active proactiveness and reaction to what's going on, and willing to make the proper changes. And what we've seen is either I think that Dabo tried some things and it didn't work like he thought it was going to work. It created a lot of hostility. And so anyway, Carolina Jackpot, Carolina Jackpot, you're supposed to be working right now. Listen to me. You're supposed to be working right now. The term expert gets thrown around loosely today. I know you're probably taking that as a shot towards Clemson, but Either way, the word expert does get thrown around a way too much, and we believe that a lot of these guys, just because they're paid a lot of money, means that they are experts. And I'm not taking I'm not taking a shot at Sweeney there. I am just saying that a lot of people, you know, I just had a text and it was work related. Sorry, folks. I'm not taking a shot at Sweeney by that way, but there are a lot of people who are seen as experts, and Carolina Jackpot is right. They're not experts. They just happen to fall into a role, and they make a lot more money than you and I, and that's totally fine. I hope to be one of those people that makes a ton of money. Money's not everything, but good Lord, we waste away our lives working nonstop, in most cases, not to earn enough money. A lot of people deal with that. So, before we get the cart before the horse, we need to look at this in a sane way. I agree that the term expert gets thrown around. And just because someone is in a high level position or coaches as a position coach for, say, Clemson or Georgia or LSU, it's easy to be or LSU or Miami, or not say Miami, but even those schools, all the way to Ohio State and Bama and whatever. Just because they're in those positions does not mean that they are really good at their job. They just might be good enough, and the paycheck may not match their expertise. So anyway, all right, folks, you take care of yourself. Hope to see you around. You take care. Eric does say, which the big sign, I've got to put it back up. That's why I put this up here. But that big, beautiful tiger sign, Eric made it. Said, by the way, everyone, stay tuned for another giveaway. So you text me about that. I do appreciate that, and I am looking forward to it. Carolina Jackpot, I hope you enjoy your vacation. To the rest of you, hope you get back to the grind. But you have a good day. As always, go Tigers.